Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. It is your girl, Angel Baby. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And remember, everything in this video is alleged. You guys, we are back on the Naziah Harris case. And let me tell you, just when I thought I heard it all, you guys, I just heard an old interview of Naziah's biological father giving his side of the story and telling about everything that he witnessed and his perception when it comes to Annette, Shannon, and the whole disappearance of his 13-year-old daughter, Naziah Harris. Now, from my understanding, since that interview, Naziah's biological father has passed away. Now let me tell you guys, I thought that King Jarvis's business partner's testimony was going to be the most important. But no, let me tell you, Naziah's father, he told it all. He did not hold back. Now, Naziah's father, he had a really bad heart. He let that be known. He was in and out of the hospital. He met Naziah's mother. He calls her Chantel. He met her at work. So I guess Chantel was doing some painting. She's into like the construction kind of work. And Naziah's dad said that they just basically became friends and one thing led to another. Now to the right, the lady in the purple is Naziah's mother, and the young man in the red is Naziah's brother. And the individual in the middle is Naziah's cousin Roxy. So I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what Naziah's mom looks like. She is the one in the purple. So now Naziah's father said that Naziah's mom, Chantel, back then she struggled with addiction. And some of the family members said that she still is struggling to this day. So it's just been a long road for Naziah's biological mother. However, Naziah's father says that he has never used. He says that he doesn't, get down like that. And, he does have a bad heart. So that wouldn't be a good thing anyway. Now, Naziah's father said that before Naziah was born, that him and Chantel, they had an agreement that Naziah would go stay with her grandmother, Annette Harris. Do you guys want to know why? The reason for that was because Naziah's father was married, you guys, and he didn't want his wife to find out. So he wanted to keep it a secret. So what happened was he put himself on child support, and he was taking care of Naziah financially because he didn't want them to go, to the state or anything. He didn't want his wife to find out. But his wife ended up finding out anyway, y'all, because the state went to his home. He said he was at work. He came home and his wife knew. And they had to have a talk. But he said that his wife was more supportive than he thought she would be. And he also admitted the reason why he did what he did and the decisions that he made with Naziah was because he wanted to protect his wife's feelings. That's the reason. So the perception that I got from that, it was obviously that this man already had a family and he wanted to protect that by any means necessary, even if that meant hiding his daughter. He put, his wife first. What are your guys' thoughts about that? Do you guys think that he should have made that choice? Do you guys think that he should have put Naziah first? What do you guys think about that? Her father also acknowledged that if he wouldn't have made the choice, to give Naziah to Annette, that Naziah would still be here today. He also said that he feels bad because he felt like he robbed his wife the opportunity to be in Naziah's life. He said that because his wife would have accepted her and Naziah would have had basically two homes. But her father said he made a choice and he couldn't go back on it. He couldn't take Naziah away from her grandmother. Naziah's father said that he would have never, ever suspected any shadiness coming from Annette. He said that she seemed to be a really good grandmother. He said her house was always immaculate. He said the baby was always happy. He said that she was always cooking and she was always working. So he said he never suspected anything. He said he thought Naziah was doing great. He said she would send pictures and she would say, you know, Naziah is a really good kid. She's getting straight A's. And so he thought everything was just good with her. So Naziah's father said he was shocked to hear that Naziah was missing. So he said that him and his wife came from where they lived and, you know, they came out to help look for Naziah, pass out flyers because, you know, everybody else was supposed to be passing out flyers. He even said that Naziah's biological mother came from a different state and she even helped pass out flyers. Then Naziah's father said he started noticing stuff. He said that Annette Harris said that she was always looking for Naziah, but every time he would go by the house, she would be at home. He said there was one time where he went to the door and the twins wouldn't even come outside. The words he used, they were very suspicious. Then he said Annette started acting funny, like her whole attitude changed. And she even mentioned that the cops wanted to talk to Naziah's brother. And she got upset about that. And she said she doesn't know why the cops want to talk to Naziah's brother. He doesn't have anything to do with that. Her father said there was just a lot of red flags. And then he said he started finding out stuff. He said that Annette reported Naziah missing as a runaway. And he found that strange because he said that Annette Harris told him that Naziah has never went missing before. She's never run away, but she's telling the cops that Naziah is a troubled child and she's ran away. So her father, he starts doing his own digging. He does his own investigation. He goes up to Naziah's school and he talks to the principal and he finds out that there was a man in a truck who came to try to pick up Naziah. And Naziah was walking toward that truck. And when the teacher saw her, she called Naziah and said, "Who is that guy?" And she said, "That's my father." And she told Naziah, "That is not your dad." And that's when that car sped off. Now that makes a lot of sense because I found this here. You guys are going to find this very interesting. Take a look at this. Now, this is a message from a teacher at an after-school program. Somebody posted this on TikTok, and this corroborates what Naziah's dad said. She said, "Lies. I'm the after-school program teacher. She was having problems with a little girl, yes, but that was the previous year. She took Naziah out that summer because Jarvis came up there to see Naziah, and Naziah lied to me, stating he was her dad to pick her up. Next day, Grandma took her out. I followed up with her asking why I haven't seen Naziah. She stated because they moved and didn't want Naziah having to travel that far home by herself. But watching the case, you stated you stayed in the same house for a while. Just all lies." What are you guys' thoughts about that? So yes, Jarvis went up to the school allegedly and tried to get Naziah. And then she tried to say that was her dad. So you guys, that's when Naziah's dad goes to Annette and asks her, "Who is this Jarvis?" Because the teacher actually had a name. They said Jarvis because they knew who Jarvis was. First, Annette tried to act like she didn't know who he was. Then she said, "Oh, that's Jarvis. He has kids with Shannon, and he used to help me out by picking the kids up and taking them to the shop." and they would clean up, and then I would pick them up from the shop. But didn't Annette Harris say that Jarvis was never really around Neziah? So at this point, Neziah's dad is telling Annette, you need to tell the cops about this Jarvis. Have them look into him. She says, oh, no, that's not necessary because him and Shannon, they're not even together anymore. He's not around. So Neziah's dad at that point, he said he got the sense that Annette was protecting Jarvis. Like she was trying to, protect him. And she didn't want the cops to look into him. So he said he started to think maybe that's why Annette reported Neziah as a runaway. Because when you get reported as a runaway, the procedure is totally different for how they go about looking for you. Jarvis would have had enough time to do what he needed to do with Neziah. And I also believe that is the reason why Annette did not call the cops right away. She waited until the next day because she wanted to give Jarvis enough time. Everything is starting to make sense, you guys. And then that's when Neziah's father found out about Jarvis's criminal record, about him being in prison for conduct with minors, and the fact that they knew and they still had Neziah around him. He said there was some really sick and scary things going on in that home. And he said that he did feel bad. He felt guilty, and he knows that things could have been different if he would have just had Neziah in his life. And he just said that he had a lot of growing to do. Yeah, and unfortunately, this is just the outcome of the choices that were made for Neziah. Hearing what Neziah's father had to say was really, really heart-wrenching. And it was sad, but it really opened my eyes, and it just solidified everything that I was thinking about the whole situation, about how I feel like Annette and Shannon have way more to do with this situation, and how they are protecting Jarvis and covering for Jarvis. You guys, there's this clip of Neziah and a guy. We don't know who this man is, but a lot of people had really strong feelings about this. It's like he's holding on to her, kissing her. He's got a beer in his hand. You guys, based on everything that we have seen and heard, I think that we can all agree, or most of us can agree, that something isn't right here. I mean, you got the chains on the refrigerator. You're sending Neziah to the shop to clean, quote unquote. The children are witnessing abuse. It is even been said that they've even told the children at some point in time to lie about the things that they've seen. With that being said, I feel like it is my duty as a human being to try to do something. Not just talk about it. I want to try to do something. So I'm thinking, what can I do? So I'm going to start off here. I pulled a petition. I want the authorities to investigate Shannon Harris and Annette Harris for involvement in the disappearance of Neziah Harris. Yes, they have Jarvis, but there's more. And I feel like Annette and Shannon, they're protecting Jarvis, they're hiding something, and they need to be properly investigated. So here's where I'm going to start. I have a link. I will put the link in the description. I will also put the link in the comment section, and it will be pinned. Let's see what we can do as a community to make sure that all parties involved are prosecuted to the furthest extent of the law. Things like this, they have to stop. Also, we really need to see what we could do about finding Neziah. I know the authorities have said they've looked, okay? And I'm going to say that very loosely. They say they looked for her. But there's been a lot of other young girls that don't look like Neziah, that when they come up missing, they find them. And if they don't, they keep on talking about them and talking about them. They don't stop talking about them after a year. They keep on talking about them until they find them. Do y'all remember how long they talked about Natalie Holloway? And she wasn't even missing in the United States. I'm just saying, I know that there's more that they can do. I know there's got to be more of a budget so we can keep looking for Neziah. I mean, how many times have the authorities combed the area? Can they go back and do another sweep? I mean, she's got to be somewhere. I mean, she just didn't vanish. She's somewhere. There's got to be a trace of Neziah somewhere. And let me tell you guys something. And this is very sad to say, but it's the truth. If it was their daughter, their family member, do you think they would have gave up? Nope. They would have kept working. They would have kept looking. I don't want Neziah's story to end here. Case closed. Another black child that's just missing and we can't find her. Presumed to be unalived. She's somewhere. I don't want this to be another case like that. Her name is Neziah Harris.